Hello guys, my name is SVB and I'm back with another episode in the Thought Process series. Today, I'm going to be talking to one of the world's best solo queue Mercy players, Serenitynow.
My name's Serenitynow. I'm a top 500 solo queue Mercy player. I stream on Twitch every day around 6 p.m. Central.
People see Mercy as a very dependent hero. They think she's very dependent on other people. But you have managed to solo queue climb your way to top 500, many seasons in a row now. So how do you feel about that? Do you think Mercy is very solo dependent, or do you think that's a misconception?
I think it is based on some truth. I think you really need to change up your playstyle, especially with this past comp season. Rush has been dominant with Ryan, Zarya, Bat, Lucio. You do just get kind of run over if you're running a Mercy. So you really got to switch up your playstyle and your beam management. I know I was healing tanks a lot more than usual during Rush, but she's there to enable your team. So you're looking to damage boost Ryan swings, fire strikes, full charge Zaryas.
And what do you see Mercy's effectiveness then? If you could summarize Mercy's effectiveness, why would you pick her over any other support?
Damage boost. Damage boost and mobility. If you're going against dive, mobility is so nice. Damage boost if you're running, say you're running double sniper, Mercy's great with those kind of poke comps, and far Mercy, of course. You're mostly looking to damage boost. If you're not damage boosting, then there's no point to picking Mercy. You're better off at a more HPS support.
And is there a general rule that you have for who someone should damage boost?
I look at what everyone picks at the start, and I kind of just go down the list of what my damage boost opportunities are and abilities that I can get a hold of. So if you're running Ryan Zarya, like I said, Ryan Fire Strike, you could always look to damage boost Ryan Fire Strike. If you're running right here, we have like Hanzo, Ashe. Of course, I'm going to be looking to damage boost Ashe. You could look to damage boost your Hanzos. It's just thinking about what your opportunities in damage boost are and just utilizing that.
Do you think there's a common misconception that people have about Mercy, or a mistake you think you see a lot of Mercy players make?
I mean, there's always going to be a misconception on a hero that's kind of has like a low skill floor, maybe not a super high skill ceiling. I think her mobility is something that I like utilizing a lot, especially with all the different tech that you could do. It makes you quite slippery. She's definitely easy to pick up. No one's making that argument, but I do think you could tell the difference between someone who's put in a lot of work in Mercy and someone who's just picking her up that game, even though they don't play her.
Okay, then let's get into the gameplay itself. So you kind of alluded to already that you have double sniper here, and you kind of want to enable the snipers. So is that kind of what your damage boost priority and just generally your target priority is going to be, to enable the DPS?
Oh, 100%. 100% to enable DPS. We're running double bubble, so Zarya Monkey. We're looking to build Nano as quickly as possible. So you'll see me kind of letting Ana have most of the healing on the tanks. I look to spot heal, of course, if the tanks are in trouble. But for the most part, I'm wanting to get Nano for our Monkey, so.
Okay, so trying to get early damage boosts, yeah.
Yes, early damage boosts, of course.
You zip on out of there.
Zip out. We know they got far now. And we heard that Tracer was going behind. I know I was saying Tracer's going behind here. So I'm looking at damage boost because of the one tap on the Tracer that the Ashe could get.
Yes, and I'm already noticing you're quite dynamic, like with your Mercy gameplay. You're kind of, you're looking around a lot, you're bouncing around a lot. Do you think that's important to mix in?
Oh, 100%. Mercy has the freedom of keeping her eyes everywhere. Your beam locks on. You have the freedom of movement to move your camera around, and you should always be doing that.
All right, so let's see what happens here, because the Trace is going to come for the flank. She blinks on you, you immediately blink away, right? Or you GA away. Very nice.
Yeah. No one when she's going to blink on you.
So here, a lot of people might not fly to the Zarya. They might just say, well, let my Ana handle it. But what makes you fly over to her?
She gets below half, and I know the Tracer's coming back around, and I do see a damage boosted Pharah over there. Pretty bad position, so I want to help her out as much as I can. It's just looking to spot heal. Once I notice that she's firing and the Ana has her, I'll go right back.
Do you always dive in and heal, or do you sometimes just say, they're too far away, I'm not going to go in? Because obviously the trade-off is the potential risk that comes to you. Do you feel like it's fine, I'll get myself out? Or do you think, okay, I'm just taking a risk, but I wouldn't normally do it?
I would say there's two different Mercy playstyles. Of course, there's the more passive and careful playstyle. I'm a very aggressive Mercy in my playstyle. So this situation here, I wasn't worried at all because knowing that I just got to this Zarya and I think my GA is up already or should be almost up already, I have a free out. I'm not really worried about this.
And is the key then your feeling of like, well, I have an out, so we see this angle, like you can immediately turn back and G away. So is that kind of the key to, even if you do go in, have an out?
Yes, always knowing where your outs are is very important. Keeping track of where people are positioned, just so that you know that you can flick your camera around and GA back, it's amazing.
Okay, well, let's see it. Yeah, immediately you GA away. The really key Mercy fundamental here is making sure you have an out. To do this, you need two things. Firstly, you need to look around. Some Mercies play very lazily and just do the bare minimum of keeping their beam on someone. But if you're not looking around, you'll find that you get caught by surprise a lot and usually killed as a consequence. But just looking around is also not enough. It's no good spotting an incoming threat if you don't actually have an out planned, i.e. an escape route. If you really want to elevate your Mercy gameplay to the best level it can be, you need to use every second of your time to be checking everyone's positions, your enemies, flank spots, and most importantly, your potential Guardian Angel targets who will bail you out of trouble. So yeah, one thing I'm noticing is already
out of line of sight there.
Yeah, but immediately I'm noticing even when you GA to someone, you're immediately looking back to see where, and there's another good example. I'm gonna rewind this actually. So yeah, one thing I'm noticing is that when you GA to someone, you don't GA to someone and keep staring at them while you put your beam on them. You GA to them, put your beam on, then immediately look the other direction. So we'll see an example of this here. When you go down towards if you go towards the Hanzo, immediately your eyes actually go back towards the Ana. Obviously, you see the monkey diving as well, and that's the response. So again, it's that important as well. You see someone go for your other healer, and you immediately turn, okay, I gotta heal her first.
Yes. So tunnel visioning when you GA to someone is a bad habit to get into because you're really taking your eyes off what's going on behind you. So say I didn't notice that monkey going behind me, but I didn't even look. And then, the Ana missed a sleep or something if she did. Now your Ana's in trouble and you're not really paying attention. Always having quick reaction times. I know a lot of Mercies don't talk about that. Quick reaction time is so important because it could save someone.
And of course, this being an Overwatch League player, you obviously, I guess they do land their sleep in the form of a panic. I think another good example, I just want to go back to it, I think, is another one when you just dive to the Hanzo down here, which will kind of illustrate what I was alluding to at the start. Like here, you GA to the Hanzo, but immediately your camera, like before, a lot of Mercies I think would be sticking on him until he's back to full, but where you're looking is already, okay, I'm back to look for my out, right? And like you said, you're looking for your out.
Yeah, I'm looking for my out.
Yeah, she obviously LOSs you, but the idea was there, right? Ideally, you were going to fly back up, heal her, and back we get to the high ground.
And you really utilize the health bar that is in the middle of your screen on Mercy. So you never have to really directly look at the target you're healing and make sure that they're all right. You have their health bar right there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of an additional tool that's very useful. Okay, so here we're going to see that jump again. Immediately you go heal up your Ana. Another damage boost on the Ashe. Make sure you finish the monkey off. Yeah, so it looks like, never a still moment. I think the criticism that people often try to take of Mercy is that they, like, oh, it's a very passive hero, very slow hero. But I can already see, like, there's never a still moment when you're playing. You're always looking around, always checking, always seeing if someone else is out of your LOS that needs something.
Yeah, you never want to stand still. Say the enemy team had a Widow, you're standing still, you might as well you're going to die. Especially the higher up you get, you just get punished so hard.
Yeah, lots of little tech. I would pause and talk about it, but then think we'd be here all day. Where, I just noticed there that the Pharah was she rocketed up into your LOS, and immediately you kind of G8 over to the other side, so that even if she does shoot you, you could still heal the Ashe without taking any rocket damage. So, lots of little maximizations here, guys, that you can obviously, when you really get to the peak of Mercy gameplay, you'll start to mix in. But for the time being, I just want to focus on the big picture decisions that you're making, because I don't think this is really something you can immediately implement. It comes with time and practice, right?
Yes, Mercy's mobility is something that you should really practice and get better at, because it's so useful.
All right, so you can see that monkey kind of shaping up there. He was threatening to jump, but he doesn't. Okay, so here again, you kind of sticking with your Ashe. Is that because she's fighting the Pharah?
Yeah, she's fighting a Pharah Mercy, and I do not want to leave that Ashe alone. But then at the same time, you can see, again, I'm looking back at my team and making sure that they're all right. So I can heal give little pocket heals to people, but I'm always mostly wanting to stay on this Ashe.
Yeah, and even then, you quickly top up the Ana and back you go towards the Ashe, right? So just a quick top up. You don't have to obsess over any one particular target if it's not necessary. Okay, so action is going down now. Your Ana's been booped down. This is a very chaotic fight now. We're gonna see some. I want to let this play out and then we'll talk about it. There's a lot going on here. A lot of micro decisions. Okay, let's talk through that then.
When I talk about the Ana, giving Ana most of the heals on the tanks, here you can see that our monkey is getting low, so I do decide to heal the monkey, because here he's line of sight. Even though he has nano, he's going to go down pretty quickly, because that's just Overwatch now with the amount of burst.
Yeah,
so
here he goes critical, right?
Here he goes critical, and Honest doesn't have like the best line of sight of him, but so I'm going to start giving him some heals. And then I see that their monkey is nanoed here, so I'm going to drop down just in case he starts to dive me, but he doesn't. I noticed that he dives behind me, so obviously he's going for high ground. So I use Ashe. I always tend to use Super Jump GA tech. So with Super Jump, just like a quick rundown on it. Super Jump, if you hit terrain, an enemy, or like an object, you can use that point as your new destination to Super Jump. So I Super Jumped into the cart here and immediately turned around because I knew he was diving high ground. I don't want to go up there with the Hanzo and a Nano Monkey. So I did that to try to kind of like A, keep myself safe, and then B, be able to pocket Hanzo.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very nice. Like, again, it's very nice to break down that micro decisions of how you kind of dodge the monkey, then you see him going up, so you quickly get up there, and now I think the Hanzo's going to pressure you, Jake himself.
Yes.
And you immediately drop again, right?
I drop, and I'm still looking at Hanzo. Like here, you can see I'm looking at Hanzo's health bar. Even though I'm not looking at him, you'll see me hesitate before going for this res, because I need to make sure that A, the Hanzo's not going to die to the monkey that's on him. And once Ana starts being able to heal him and I can see his health bar going up like there, I will go ahead and Valk and res the Zarya, because I know that my Ana has him. I'm not really too worried.
Yes, and again here, just like a nice little tech. You go under the bridge to protect yourself while resing. So obviously important to do maximizing those kind of things. Then you fly over to your team, and now just, damage boosting everybody, making sure everybody's Gucci.
Yeah, I try to position myself kind of in between both of them there, so that I know I could keep damage boost on the three that were over there, but then also look at the Zarya, who was getting pretty low.
So again, you immediately kind of find your way to the Ashe. One sort of tip that I've heard and I often give as well to players is when you're with Mercy, when you are Mercy, try to enable the aggression, enable the off angler. So is that a fair tip, you'd say?
Yes, that's the whole reason to play Mercy, to enable your team. So Ashe is if she gets a good off angle on their team. There was a different game where me and the Ashe just went on a journey to the back line behind the enemy team and just wiped them. So it really depends on what your team comp is. If you're having trouble, like you could say Mercy Zen is pretty low healing, but if your tanks play safe, you could still get massive damage boost opportunities off there. It's just a damage comp. So always enable your team. No reason not to damage boost people.
Yeah, and I think just to clarify for anyone who does watch this video later, what an off angle is. So you can see here the main street path of Numbani would be what we would call the main angle, right? This is where the payload's going to go. This is where everyone's generally going to be looking. You can see this is where all the tanks are as well, because this is obviously where the fight will take place. And therefore, anywhere that's separate and at a slight, alternate angle is what we would call the off angle. And that's exactly where the Ashe is, right? She's not... If everyone just walked down main, they would never encounter this Ashe. They would never run into this Ashe. So she's at this sort of slight perch on the side. And of course that's strong, but also leaves her vulnerable. So she was already a little bit low when Serenity got here, and the Pharah's already looking at her, pressuring her. So by keeping the Ashe alive, you allow her to stay here for much longer. She can pump out a lot more damage and be a lot more of a threat. Whereas if you leave her alone, she eats one rocket and now suddenly she has to either back up or die. So that is why it's good. So yeah, as we see there, exactly case in point. The Ashe is able to get very aggressive. The damage boost allows the kill on the Pharah. And now that actually allows our team to push forward immediately, so.
Which is our
yeah, we're
pretty
gonna
much
trace
primary
in
here.
Okay, so here you pop Valkyrie. What have you seen that's making you pop Valkyrie?
I popped Valkyrie because they nanoed their Pharah, which is scary as is. So you have a damage boosted nano Pharah that can just destroy your backline. And then I see the Zarya is getting pressured heavily, and she doesn't have any self bubbles from what I remember. I think she already used it. So I popped Valkyrie to put heals onto the Zarya because I know our Anna's going to be backing up more to get in a better position. So she's not really going to have much heals.
So you're kind of anticipating. So again, I think a lot of Mercy's reactively Valkyrie, like when somebody's dead or critical. But what you're saying is you're anticipating that your Zarya is going to be in trouble and that you might be in trouble by the Pharah. So that's where you're popping Valkyrie.
Yeah, you don't want to pop Valkyrie too late. That's when you start getting into trouble. Valkyrie is such a fast generating ult, and it's not really used defensively, I guess you could say, because it's not really a defensive ult. So you kind of want to just use it to either get sustained and healthy, or go aggressive with like a mass damage boost on your team.
All right, so let's see how this pans out. So yeah, the Pharah goes for the barrage, Glock time, but
Clock time for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't get the kill right away and you can't secure it, there's no reason to continue glocking. It's a giant waste of Valkyrie. So most of the time you'll either see me try to pistol down a stationary, Pharah, or get in position to kind of dive bomb a Widow. But here it's kind of, okay, my team still needs me though. I'm not going to waste my time trying to pistol down this person that's not going to die.
Yeah, don't get ego on it, right? Like, oh, I gotta kill her now.
Yeah, exactly. And I go for the fake on the res because I know that the Pharah is going to try to stop me there. Always expect that someone's going to try to boop you away from your res. They want to try to deny the res. So if they have a Lucio, you could kind of bait the boop, but there I try to bait the Pharah concussive. So
Mercy's res is very powerful, but it's also very obvious. Everyone knows that if a Mercy has a dead teammate nearby, she's going to try and res him. And one of the most common mistakes Mercies make is to get themselves killed or interrupted during res. To up the success rate of your reses, make sure you bait out cooldowns that you know will try to stop you. So if you see a character with a stun or knockback waiting near the soul, make sure you first force them to use these things by going near the soul and pretending like you're going to res before actually resing once those cooldowns have been blown. Okay, so here the minefields kind of force you to Valk because you were kind of in an awkward spot there, right?
yes, our DPS were split on that other side of that mines. So I Valked just to get over immediately to the Ashe so that I can keep them safe because I know that they're going to be getting dove on this side. It's just the two of them versus Ball and Mines and Monkey. So I go to help Ashe immediately.
Yeah.
And this just gives me a better position.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask: Are you deliberately using the trees for cover, or is it just like are they just getting in your way?
I wouldn't say deliberately, but you can see when you're in Valk, you should always be ascending and descending. So you always want to be kind of like bobbing and weaving because you want to be harder to hit. Even throwing like short GAs in so that you are harder to hit. It's so helpful. Just
Okay,
like staying in one fixed position and flying is just gonna get you easily killed.
so we can see it here. You can see just like even though there's nobody shooting, we're just constantly
Yeah,
bobbing
there's
and
no
weave,
reason
boys.
not.
Bob and weave.
No reason not to be moving.
Okay, nice. So again, the Hanzo's in the better position, so we enable the Hanzo. Now the Ashe goes up and off we go.
Yeah,
And again,
being with the
go ahead.
DPS, the Ana was she got Nano so quickly. So we already have Nano because I'm focusing more on enabling our DPS and letting Ana have the heals on her tanks that we already have Nano. So
And I was gonna say again, even as we were enabling the Ashe, we were still keeping an eye on the monkey to see, does he need my help, or can I keep enabling these guys? Okay, again, the monkey comes in, we heal the people he's jumping. Yeah, just, again, our DPS are having so much fun right now because they've got, you know, constant healing, constant damage boost. Even as they take damage, they're all right. There goes that Nano Pharah again, but again, who's going to take her down? The Ashe? Again, this is the thing as well. I think a lot of the times people get defeated by like a Pharah Mercy comp and, you know, they blame their hit scan. But you also have to, as a support, and particularly as Mercy, also have to help that fight because it's a 2-on-1. You know, you've been evening the odds, as it were.
yes, even there, while the Nano boosted Pharah was going at her Ashe, you could see that I didn't just try to heal her. You know, the damage boost is is so big into taking targets down. So you can see that I damage boosted most of that and didn't start healing to the end.
Yeah, it's sort of like, it's counterintuitive to some people, but if you damage boost the Ashe, she kills the Pharah faster, which lets her need less healing, right? So if you heal her only, she might live longer, but then the Pharah lives longer too, and then she's doing damage longer to our Ashe. Whereas here, again, even as we go down quite, you know, we take not a full direct, but half of a direct, and we still damage boost our Ashe because that's what's going to get the kill on the Pharah. That's exactly what happens. We do get the kill, and then afterwards we're free to heal as much as we want.
Exactly.
It's sort of like, you know, you're more effective 75% health with a damage boost than 100% health and just heal pocket, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. We couldn't get to our Hanzo in time, unfortunately, but still enabling other people.
I'm
Tempted for
looking
the res.
I want the res, but I know that Jake's there, so I kind of wait until I know that he's backing off, and then I go for it.
Yeah, so again, I think that's another common mistake I see is oh, there's a res? I got a res. Like, immediately just, like, flies over, and then in that case, the Hanzo would have been like, well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Arrow to the dome, but you were kind of very patient until there was the right moment.
Yeah, you can see that I kept, like, kind of looking at him in the corner, so I was kind of keeping him in my peripherals, but yeah. You don't have to immediately go for that res. You can wait till it's much safer.
Fast forward a little bit, Serenity's team push it all the way with a minute left, which means they get one more attack, either win the game or it ends in a draw. So we're going to see Serenity's clutch play to contest the point just as overtime triggers. Okay,
Here
again,
I'm kind of hoping that our Ashe takes damage so that I could get Valk because I'm pretty much the only opportunity to touch point.
Yeah. And again, very nice, like, you know, you sort of, the way you glid in there, you trigger the overtime and you're out.
Yeah, I was looking at that Ana because I was afraid of getting slept, so I kind of fixated my vision on that Ana while trying to stay underneath because that's where I'm going to take the least damage. You know, the enemy team's all high ground, so.
And thankfully your Hanzo then gets a kill on the Ana. Now it's hairy situation. Everybody's going crazy. Okay, the monkey manages to juke us, but our job is done. You know, we triggered the overtime. We kept people up.
We touched.
Let's have a look at this again because this was very nice. Yeah, so again,
I waited to Valk to try to slingshot myself forward further with that Valk so that I could get to point in time. I didn't want to just Valk and, you know, just start moving. So when you see I let myself fall so that I was not really on level with Ashe, but I used her as my slingshot to get to point faster.
Now let's have a look at this again. So Yeah, we see it there. And for anyone wondering, like if you can actually trigger overtime 3 seconds before. So if you, or it's roughly, I think it's like 2.8. But basically here, with it being 2 seconds, as long as we touch now, we can leave, as we will do. And overtime will still trigger. So there we go. Overtime triggers.
All up there, so we're good.
Yeah, and now we're just enabling our Ashe so that she can get some damage done. And we fly over. We're trying to damage boost as many people as we can. Unfortunately, the dynamite finishes the Mercy, but we would have otherwise done it. We dodged the fire barrage, who was going for us. Now that's
kind of getting in a bad spot here. I get in a spot where I can't really GA out besides everyone who's already on point. So Monkey kind of just gets to kill me here.
Yeah. Is there anything you would have? Would you have GA'd somewhere differently in sort of retrospect?
I'm trying to think of where I GA'd.
So
I GA'd to Monkey because our Ana. I looked to our Ana there to try to go towards her, but I mean, other than that was just a normal GA. I guess I could have super jumped GA'd and went straight up, but I think
yeah, it's a tough situation. You can't always anticipate the unpredictable. But nice, you get the win. All right, awesome. So to summarize, make sure you always have an out as Mercy. Always have someone prepared to Guardian Angel 2 to get out of danger. And to do so, you'll need to make sure to always be active and always be looking around to keep tabs of everyone's location. Try to enable whoever can do the most damage. If you're running a Rein Zarya brawl, that may well mean damage boosting a Reinhardt as he swings on multiple people. But anyone who does long range damage and anyone who's flanking or off angling is great for you to enable because you can increase their power level by a lot. Maximize your Mercy play. Stay on the move a lot, try to get as much out of your beams as possible, use your positioning in Guardian Angels to bait out cooldowns, and make sure you don't stick to the lazy Mercy stereotype, because if you really push the limits of your APM on this hero, you'll find that she's a heck of a lot of fun. And that's all I got for today, guys. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, then make sure to check out Serenitynows content, which is linked in the video description. And also, do some liking and commenting and all that. If you'd like to support me directly, then do consider signing up to my Patreon, as it's unbelievably helpful in giving me the time and comfort to know I can make quality content for you. But that's it from me. I'll be back before you know it with another video. See you guys soon.